Hello again from my front porch, where, as you know, it's always the joke always is, if you don't like the weather in Iowa, wait 5 minutes and it'll change. Well, apparently we're experiencing that. We're about to experience that now because it was really cold a week or two ago, like sub-zeros for long period of time. Then it got fairly okay, pleasant, and then it was just a little chill. And now here, the last couple of days, it's actually been warm. It's been like in the 60s. There's no snow on the ground. There's none. But now, while it's 60 degrees still outside, we had thunderstorms roll through last night. Not snow, thunderstorms, rain showers. And it's raining again today, but this rain is apparently going to turn to snow, which means the 60 degrees will go away. But the reason I emphasized it was 60 degrees is because it was still 60 degrees and a winter weather storm advisory thing, warning, was issued while it's still 60 degrees here in Iowa. And to make it worse, apparently tonight, going into tomorrow, we're supposed to get something that they are now calling a blizzard hurricane, or a hurricane blizzard. I never heard of this before. I've lived in Iowa my entire life. I have been through 56 winters. And I don't recall ever hearing of a blizzard hurricane or a hurricane, but it looks like a hurricane. It looks like a big circle thing. It's going to have this big, it's like it's circling around Illinois. Illinois is in the eye of the hurricane, and there's just this whoosh. It's going to be going around. It's supposed to be a lot of snow, a lot of wind, a lot of turmoil. But you know, now people have said, is that real? Is that legit? Well, I mean, it's on the National Weather Service site. I would imagine that is, you know. But you do got to be careful sometimes about just, you know. I mean, the old cliche is, well, I saw it online, so it must be true. Well, increasingly there's more truth to that than we might normally think. Especially like on Facebook. Now again, I'm not wanting to drift into the world of politics too far, but as you may recall, back when Donald Trump was elected the first time and he was faced off against Hillary Clinton, there was a lot of accusation leading up to the actual election and then certainly afterwards that other countries, especially Russia, was the favorite one to be mentioned, but that they had tried to influence the election through the purchasing of targeted marketing memes and stuff on Facebook, and even fake accounts in Facebook, but that they had tried to push things out there that would be divisive, that would be critical of Hillary Clinton, they'd be negative towards Donald Trump, with the intent not necessarily being to promote either candidate, but rather to just foster division, to get people arguing, to get people just, you know, distracted with some of this stuff. And you know, did it work? I don't know. It depends on how you like the outcome of the elections, I guess. But so this is nothing new that we've seen this. But just here recently, I've been struck by noticing weird stuff. Things that I just thought, wait a minute, they just make me question. Now that's because I'm a little weird too, I suppose. But I was looking at the well, actually, what really started this was I'm not a big fan of LeBron James. I mean, he's a skilled player, but his ego is bigger than it should be, in my opinion. That's me. But there's all these posts that keep coming across my feed that are just blindly promoting him and basically saying either you support that LeBron James is the greatest of all time, the GOAT, or you're stupid, you're idiot, you don't know what you're talking about. And I got to wondering, where are all these posts coming from? Where is it? And so there's this thing in Facebook where you can go to the About there's an about where you can see the about on a page, and then in there you can see page transparency. And when you click that, you get to see all the names the page has been changed to over the years. You can see when it was created, for that matter. You can also, though, see not who manages the page, but where the page managers are. And with the LeBron James thing, I was just blown away to then discover that the majority of these pages pushing LeBron, they all come from the Philippines, where apparently LeBron James is big. I mean, physically he would be big, but seriously, either he's big or he's paid a bunch of people in the Philippines to tout him. I don't know, but it was interesting that a lot of these pages were not from the U.S. touting LeBron James. So it's not like it was Lakers fans out of L.A. who would be in the U.S. It's a whole bunch of people from the Philippines that are out there championing his cause. Things. Okay, but that just struck me as interesting. Well, once I figured out that I could do this simple little thing, it got me thinking now that as I'm scrolling through my feed and I see somebody posting stuff that just seems odd, especially in comparison to what the name of the group is, because they'll have these innocuous names of groups, but then they're posting political things. They'll be posting anti-Trump, anti-Musk, anti-Doge, that kind of stuff. But the name of the page is nothing political at all. It's supposed to be a lighthearted whatever, and it makes me go, what's going on here? Is this a bait and switch thing? That's going on here? And so I've started now on a fairly regular basis checking the page transparency on these kind of accounts. And when I see what appears to me to be a disconnect between postings that are clearly targeted to a U.S.-based readership, but that the page transparency says there's nobody from the U.S. That is a page manager, that makes me intrigued. That makes me a little suspicious as to what the motivation is of this page. And so I'm not just going to give you the hypotheticals. I'll give you some examples. I did some screen shooting from my phone, so I'm sorry it's going to be the vertical thing, and I prefer it like this, but it just wasn't working that way. So I've got the vertical thing here where I got three pages, and I tried to actually pick I'll say neutral pages, not because I wasn't wanting pages that would stir up a lot of controversy. That's not the point. The point is I'm trying to illustrate that you can see this page transparency, and it might alter or impact how you read the posts that are on those pages that you follow if you find out that everybody that manages this page is in Indonesia. Everybody that manages this page is in Colombia. Everybody, if there's nobody in the United States, or in some cases it's split between where they're still, it's like, why? That's interesting. So I've got three examples that I'm going to show you. I'm going to bring them up here on the screen. I made myself a little cheat sheet so I can narrate you through these things. But so the first one that comes up is a site just called Weird Facts. And actually, I kind of like the Weird Facts. But the Weird Facts, when you go in and you go to, about, and then it takes you into the page and you see where you can do the page transparency. Even before you get there, you already see that the managers are in India. But when you go to the page transparency, you can see how many. And that's when you find out that there are two managers of the Weird Facts, and both of them are based in India. The facts all seem primarily geared again for U.S. audience, the posts, I should say, and yet they're in India. It's like, oh, okay, interesting. Then the next one is one that's called the Your Nation page. Well, now Your Nation clearly would imply the United States. if you're a U.S.-based audience, because you can create these posts and you can put them out there. You can target where they go. I've done that with posts in the past, especially with Filipino groups, not to other countries, but to specific state, geographic areas, even people with specific interests. You can do that. And so here's this group called Your Nation that clearly seems targeted to the U.S. and a lot of the posts deal with the U.S. stuff, some even now the politics of the U.S. So let's take a look at that one. You click on the About and you go into the About there and you start scrolling down and you go over to the page transparency and you click on the page transparency, and once you've done that, then you come up to see the list that says there are 2 managers of this page. One is in Portugal and one is in the U.S. Now, Portugal? Really? I'm not sure what someone in Portugal why they would be saying stuff about our nation, your nation. It's free country, free world, free social media, I guess. I don't know. But it's interesting that a page, it's called Your Nation, that people would assume is done by people in the U.S., is done by 2 page managers, and only one of them is in the U.S. The other one is in Portugal. Huh, interesting. But then there's other ones like the last one that I want to show you is one called Network Media Family. And we go to Network Media Family, you click on the About, and in the About you see an interesting statement where it says that it is an LA-based couple looking to bring some fun into your feed. So in the About, they say they're an LA-based couple. You also see that the name of the page will have changed. If we click on page transparency, you see the name of the page has changed many, many times, all with still a family-ish dynamic. But what is really intriguing is when you get down to the page managers, there is an army of page managers for this. 7 of them, yes, are in the U.S. But then you've got a page manager in Argentina, you got one in Austria, you got one in Canada, you got one in Chile, you got one in Colombia, you got one in Indonesia. Wow, that is quite a network of media family all over the world. Now again, I'm not saying with those pages, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those with what's posted. I'm not accusing them of anything. I'm not harassing about anything with them. In fact, again, I tried to choose some pages I thought were pretty milquetoast, pretty non-controversial, just to illustrate that you can see this stuff. Now, I encourage you, as you're seeing posts that are maybe a bit more inflammatory, or the ones that raise your blood pressure, perhaps, before you start firing off responses, check the page transparency. See where the page managers are from. Not just because it could be some bad actors from outside the United States trying to still stir things up here that don't need stirred up, or it could be scammers trying to get, people say, my Facebook page got hacked. I don't know how, I don't know what. Maybe you liked or commented on a post from one of these groups where all of the managers are from India and Indonesia and I don't know, wherever, anywhere they could be. In which case, now that you have engaged with them, they may be able to capitalize on that. If they know what they're doing, they may be able to capitalize on that to get access to you. At the very least, now, if you don't have your friend group locked down, your page locked down, like I do, I have it so locked down that even once we're friends, you still can't see my friends list. Because I've seen how this thing happens. How once they get into one person's, they become friends with one person, then they see everybody in that person's friend list, and then they start hitting on those people. But with me, first of all, I block them pretty quickly if I don't recognize them and we don't have anybody in common. Especially when I get the messages, I'll do like a post on some public thing like one of these groups, and I'll get somebody commenting that says, oh, I love your post. Oh, you're so articulate. Oh, it's so great. You seem so smart. I tried to friend request you, but it didn't work. Could you friend request me? Well, no, if you tried to friend request me, it would work. I still would get to deny you. but if you tried to friend request me, it would work. You saying you want me to reach out to you is your way of trying to get me to allow you into my page. And a lot of times, amazingly, the photos are of very attractive, beautiful young ladies, which, again, doesn't do it for me. Let's see the pictures of their moms, okay? Let's. But seriously, I get those, and they'll say, would you message me? And my standard response is something like, nope, bye. And then I block them. Because I don't want them getting any inroads into my account. And so, I would encourage you to consider doing stuff like that too. But even if one of them made it through and I wasn't paying attention, or I misjudged and let somebody in, they still wouldn't see my friend list. They still wouldn't be able to exploit it to try to reach out to a bunch of people because I've got it locked down. They can't do that. But even if you don't have your page all set up like that, you can still do the basic precaution of just being aware of who you're interacting with. When you're commenting on something, when you're liking something, are you actually interacting with who you think you're interacting with? Or are you interacting with somebody in some far distant country who may or may not have your best interests at heart? It's unfortunate that we have to be that cynical, that we have to be that skeptical, that we have to be that guarded about these things, but it is the world we live in. So much of our life now is online and on social media, and that means there's a lot of opportunity for people who know how to exploit those things to take advantage of you. So, my encouragement to you is keep doing whatever you do on social media, enjoy yourself, but maybe be just a little more shrewd, a little more observant, a little wiser about the pages that you choose to support and interact with. Oh, by the way, my page, totally from the US, right here in Des Moines, Iowa, where apparently we're going to get a hurricane blizzard, hurricane, something. So batten down the hatches. Here we go. With that, I'll see y'all next time from my front porch.